Today on International Women's Day, we celebrate some truly inspiring women. And on the second Sunday in Lent, we also meet Christians who are devoting their time to the needs of others. Welcome to Songs of Praise. This week, James Lusted joins the 89-year-old grandmother who twice a week cooks for the homeless and those in need.
We don't only serve food, we give love, respect, attention, everything.
JB Gill becomes a volunteer for a day alongside other Christians giving their time in a boutique charity shop. And a children's author inspires a new generation of young people to celebrate the women of the Bible.
I thought that the Bible would be quite inaccessible in many ways and quite difficult to read, and in fact I found it to be the opposite.
Our hymns today, old and new, are all written by women. We have some beautiful ones to come, and we start with Fanny Crosby's famous words telling the story of our salvation. Blessed Assurance. The Bible contains so many inspiring stories, but did you know a good number of them are about women? One author, Michelle Sloan, has written a book to celebrate them, and she visits schools to tell their stories to a new generation of young people.
We really didn't learn about the women in the Bible. When the idea was put to me to think about the women of the Bible, my first reaction was I couldn't think of any. And the only ones that I did think of were really more in supportive roles.
Let's have a look
here they all are. But we're going to pick out a few that I thought you might enjoy.
Michelle focuses on 16 powerful women in the Bible, including Deborah, a judge and warrior, Esther, a queen, and Anna, a prophet who waited her entire life for the arrival of Jesus.
Be patient like Anna and believe in God's promises.
I was most inspired by Anna the prophetess because she was very patient, which I probably wouldn't be able to do.
Any others?
Mary Magdalene.
Mary Magdalene, well done.
I was inspired by Mary Magdalene because she was such a great follower of Jesus, and I like the name she has because it means fortress and tower. It means like she's a bit of a fortress.
Now, Queen of Sheba was not just a wonderful queen, she was super generous too.
The Queen of Sheba inspired me because she was very determined to ask the king loads of questions and riddles, and she was really kind because she bought him loads of gold and jewels for him.
Esther, because she was the one who saved all her people and she wasn't afraid to show who she really was.
What kind of person do you think Rahab was?
So Rahab was an inn owner who helped some soldiers.
Rahab inspired me because you're saving the lives of others so they don't get hurt.
Reading the Bible in detail as research for her book, Michelle found herself on a fresh journey of faith.
I think I thought that the Bible would be quite inaccessible in many ways and quite difficult to read. And in fact, I found it to be the opposite. And the stories that I found were just so engaging. It's really just been the beginning of a whole new chapter of my life with this new sense of faith that I have. I think it's reassuring and comforting to know that women so long ago had to face and overcome challenges. And I think I would like to share these stories so that everyone, whether you have a faith or not, can see the benefit of facing up to challenges and tackling them the way these women of the Bible did.
Our next hymn, written by Anna Letitia Waring, reminds us that God is by our side no matter what challenges we face. During this season of Lent, Christians are encouraged to serve others in new ways. One Christian couple began doing that back in 1972. Retired nurse and doctor Sally and John Rawlinson felt called to leave their jobs at Guy's Hospital in London to treat young families in the country of Yemen, following its civil war.
We'd been married a few months. I was a sister at Guy's, and John said, please, can we go abroad to the Yemen? I've seen an advert for a job there to start up a mother and baby clinic.
There was a huge range of infectious disease, principally tuberculosis, but also advanced ear infections, polio and cholera. At the beginning of a day's work, outside the clinic there would be maybe 60 mothers and children gathered there. Our strength was empowered by the knowledge of Jesus drawing the children to him and blessing them, because to Jesus, as to us, children were not at the bottom of the pile, they were at the top of the pile of importance.
Jesus said, as much as you do for the least of these, my brethren, you do for me. Yes, everything you're trying to do for the little ones, and this is my contribution, because I'm not a world speaker and I'm not a very good orator, but I can practically do things, I hope.
Our next hymn is Take My Life and Let It Be. How do you reflect on that hymn in light of the charity work that you've both done?
In a sense, we have consecrated our life to the principle of looking after people as a doctor and a nurse, and in particular, caring for the needs of children.
Our next song was written only 4 years ago in Australia by worship leader Brooke Ligertwood, but it's already become incredibly popular around the world, winning her a Grammy Award. What a beautiful name, led for us today by Philippa Hanna.
One with God, the Lord Most High, the hidden glory in creation, now revealed in you are Christ. What a beautiful name it is! What a beautiful name it is! The name of Jesus.
We do meet some amazing women on Songs of Praise, and Ma Smith from Oxford is definitely one of those. Twice a week, she cooks for the homeless and those in need, and James Lusted has been to meet her.
This is the Oxford Community Soup Kitchen. It's run by a remarkable lady, Katherine Smith, who's been feeding the homeless here for over 30 years. Despite being nearly 90, every Wednesday and Saturday, Katherine and her team of volunteers cook up a 3-course meal in this community centre in Oxford. Well, Katherine, it smells absolutely delicious in here. What's cooking?
Roast lamb, roast potato, and leeks, and meatballs.
And how many are you expecting here today?
I don't really know. Sometimes you're 40,
Amazing.
up to 50. So we don't know when they're coming in.
Yeah. And how are these leeks looking for you now, Katherine? Are they okay?
Yeah, you cook.
Happy with that?
Yeah.
Delicious. Some of the food is given by the local food bank. The rest is bought from donations. Why did you start the soup kitchen?
I was walking on this road and saw this young lad was eating from the bin. I don't know what it was, but I was just only thinking it was chips, but I don't know. So that's what started it. This one young man. Well, that moment, I stand in the street and I just said, God, I must do something about this. When I look and see that, I think it could be one of my grandchildren.
In the beginning, Katherine took unpaid leave from her job, borrowed pots and pans, and with a donation of £1,500 began her soup kitchen. From the outset, her youngest son Gary has helped her.
My mum calls me the head chef, but my mum's the head chef. I do as I'm told. My mum always says, if you can't help somebody in your life, what's your life worth?
Over the 30 years, she's fed 45,000 people.
I didn't realize at the time that it would last until this time. I would say, no, I can't.
There we go.
God don't show us the end. He just shows a little at the beginning and he leave it. Because sometimes if he shows everything, we don't do it.
I mean, you can't get this, can you? Anywhere, being homeless. Yeah.
She also treats you like a family. She always asks you how you are, always makes you feel at home.
The success for me, when I see they get themselves clean, find a job, a lot of them find a job, have a flat, have their own family. Oh, it makes me feel so proud.
She goes to church every Sunday. She spares no opportunity not to talk about the Messiah. It's a huge part of her inspiration.
Well, my mum died about 2 years ago, and of course I relied on my mum. But since my mum died, she's like my second mum.
We don't only serve food, we give love, respect, attention, everything.
Before our next hymn, we've news of the Songs of Praise Young Choir of the Year recording at Warwick Arts Centre in Coventry. Hosts Ala Jones and Radzi Chinyanganya will be joined by celebrity judges Alexandra Burke, Mark DeLissa and Jamie Hensley as 10 young choirs compete to be junior and senior champions. If you'd like to be in the audience on the 21st or 22nd of March, get your free tickets by visiting bbc.co.uk/Songs of Praise. To continue our music for International Women's Day, here's more of last year's Young Choir of the Year finalists with Darlene Chech's timeless worship song, My Jesus, My Saviour. In this season of Lent, Christians often give their time generously to benefit others. One way of doing this is volunteering, and JB Gill has been to lend a hand, helping to raise money on the high street.
I'm in Wandsworth in London, learning what it's like to work in a charity shop like thousands of other volunteers across the country. My boss for the day is manager Eugene Cooper.
Thanks for coming down today.
Thank you. This shop is known as a community hub, selling high-end fashion goods. Well, I'm here to help. Anything I can do today?
Definitely, it's our busiest day, so I'd be really grateful if you could help downstairs and get some clothes ready for the shop floor.
Perfect. While Eugene and I sort the freshly arrived clothes, it's a chance for me to find out what drew him into working for a charity.
Because I was adopted and I was lucky enough to be adopted into a loving family, I know that for a lot of children out there, their stories aren't so happy. And this charity works tirelessly to make sure that every child throughout the world is given a future.
And just how big of a difference do these donations make?
Huge, because not everybody is able to commit regularly through planned giving. So you can come into the shop, you can spend £1 or £5, but you're still contributing.
This is surprisingly therapeutic. I mean, I could do this all day. But it's time to get back onto the shop floor. Helping me is Bethany Hendrikse, and together we're being trained on the till.
So it's looking for a gift aid number. Obviously that helps the charity get that extra 25%.
So Bethany, how did you come to be involved?
I was originally in Zimbabwe and I've been living in the UK for 20 years now, and I think seeing what it was like over there and then having the privilege of coming and bettering my life, I always wanted to do something to kind of help people who needed it.
How has your work with the charity impacted your career?
Well, I used to work in finance, and voluntarily gave me the opportunity to go back and do a master's, and now I'm able to pursue a career in the development sector and hopefully maybe work in another country and support them, just helping people. My faith plays a part in everyday life. I'm always looking for guidance, and I continue to look to God for guidance in everything I do.
Bag for me. You like a bag, did you?
Hey, hi guys, how'd you get on?
I think we did all right, didn't we?
Yeah, it was fun.
We really appreciate it, and the work that you've done today has helped make a real difference to children's lives, so well done.
God, I look to you, I won't be overwhelmed. Give me vision to see things like you do. God, I look to you, you are where help comes from. Give me wisdom, you know just what to do.
Next week, Claire McCollum is in County Down to find out about one of Ireland's lesser-known patron saints, Saint Bridget, and she meets young Christians litter-picking for Lent. Well, it's been wonderful to hear about some truly inspirational women today, and from Christians who put God first by serving those in need. We end now with a hymn by the appropriately named Charity Bancroft, Before the Throne of God Above.